You are now listening to the J Porks Experience. Listen free on iTunes or at theandydareshow.com. Now, here's Jay.
Yo, what is the word, people? Welcome to another edition of the J Porks Experience. I'm Jay Porks. With me, as always, on the other side of the glass, making sure this is a well-oiled podcast machine. Every week is nobody. Got a couple of things to get to, but first let me run down the list of websites I need you to go to help keep me in business. First, as usual, there's concertconfessions.com. That's for all your live music, news and reviews, for the fans, by the fans. I invite you to come join our family, check out some shows, and share your pics, your videos, your witty little sentences with us. You can check out the latest review is Leverage Models Invading Vintage Vinyl. Our buddy Bees Nuts is back again at Vintage Vinyl, which has aforementioned awesome in-stores. You could also click the Amazon ads there and buy stuff, because you need to buy stuff anyway. You can buy me cool t-shirts. You know, I could always use some gifts. You could go to, if you're not already there, theandydareshow.com. That's for all your Deer Network podcast needs. You can get The Andy Deer Show, the flagship show. You can get The Tyler Cale Show. I was listening to part 2 of Bonita Appetita, I think it was called. Bonita Applebum, that's what it was. Alright, fun stuff. It was fun stuff. You can get me, of course, but, you know, I mean, that's a given, right? It's a given that you listen to me. But while you're there, you can click those ads and also buy stuff, so it could make it seem to Andy like I told you to, and it makes me look good. And that's always good. Also, my buddy in the D, ChristinaRocks.com. Christina hosts the Time Warp on 89xradio.com every Sunday morning, 8 to 12. And this past Sunday, I had the privilege of calling in and, you know, using the time she gave me to rattle off as many websites I work for as possible. The 2 aforementioned ones, and the one I'm heading to right now, which is AnnieQuiet.com, your source for quality. There's a bunch of stuff going on, hands-on with Neil Young's Pono system. You could stream Mac DeMarco's new solo. His third full-length album is available to stream via NPR. You can get a link to that at concertconfessions.com. Ume, that's spelled U-M-E, but it's actually pronounced Ume. You could sink your teeth into their new video for Blackstone. If you haven't heard of Ume, this is a good place to start, says the byline. I saw them with the Toadies and Helmet I think it was 2 years ago at Webster Hall. That was good times. Good times had by all. Me and Pam were there. Also, speaking of the Toadies, real quick before I forget this, this was funny. I saw a headline that you can stream their 1994 album Rubberneck in its entirety. I mean, because they're reissuing it. So now you can stream it. I mean, I thought I can listen to it on YouTube or anywhere. I thought I can pop the CD in and stream it. Or the tape, whatever I have it on, whatever format I have it on. Well, I guess I don't have a tape player, but I would have the tape. I know, you got some extra tracks that you're throwing in there and you're letting us listen to. But I think that's kind of hilarious that it was a headline that you could stream an album that came out 20 years ago right now online for free. Isn't that amazing? What's next? Are you going to tell me I could download it too? Are you going to sell it to me on cassette tape? The Black Keys have a new album out. Not out. Yeah, right. No way they have a new album out. They announced that they're going to have a new album out called Turn Blue. And the album is due out May 13th. The Black Keys announced. So their album is going to be called Turn Blue. So the Black Keys turn blue. Hey, at least they're not unfunny. And Monday morning, rolled over in bed, and I looked at Twitter, and I couldn't help but notice that there was a Twitter hoax going on that I was praying. You know, when Twitter kills people, so I was praying that this was Twitter killing another person, but it was not. As the mastermind behind Gwar, David Dave Brockie, also known as Oderus Ungurus, was found dead at his home at the age of 50 Monday morning. And there's an article on Annie Quiet by my buddy Reverend Justino that I will I'll read some of it right here, and I'll insert my own little times with Gwar, because Gwar is I mean, if you don't know Gwar, you know of Gwar. And last night in Richmond, Virginia, the music world lost a larger-than-life legend. Perhaps best known by his stage name, Oderus Ungurus, Gwar frontman and mastermind Dave Brockie passed away at the age of 50. The official statement from the band's manager, Jack Flanagan. And here's the statement. It is with a saddened heart that I confirm my dear friend Dave Brockie, artist, musician, and lead singer of Gwar, passed away at approximately 6:50 Eastern Standard Time, Monday, March 23rd, 2014. Sunday, March 23rd, 2014. His body was found Sunday by his bandmate at his home in Richmond, Virginia. Richmond authorities have confirmed his death, and next of kin has been notified. A full autopsy will be performed. He was 50 years old. My main focus right now is looking after my bandmates and his family. More information regarding his death shall be released as the details are confirmed. I will add that Gwar was, I believe, the last surviving original member, because Flatus Maximus died over a year ago, 2 years ago, I believe. While there were many things that made Gwar unique, one of the most remarkable things the band accomplished was the fact that you didn't need to know a single song to find yourself wrapped up in their warped world. From decapitating world leaders to covering their audience with synthetic semen and synthetic blood, the live Gwar experience was like no other. One could walk in knowing nothing and walk out a fan for life, assuming they were not offended by over the outlandish antics of a band that claimed Antarctica as their adopted base. Let me just say for a second, I got a chance to see Gwar at the Music Hall of Williamsburg in Brooklyn a few years ago with my buddy Alexis, and it was because of the author of this article, Reverend Justino, pushing me to see them, that I went and saw Gwar, and it was an experience. And right now, as I record this, I am wearing the hat that I was wearing that night. It's a white ski hat, but it's covered in blood, so it's red. Well, it splashes of red. And a few things about that night I could just recall was being able to. I was in the photo pit for the first couple of songs. I snuck my way. I didn't sneak my way in. We found out a way to get me in there. And I look to my left, I look to my right, and these guys are holding $1,000 cameras, and they covered themselves. My fellow the fellow people in the photo pit, that is, photographers. They're covered in plastic and these raincoats and tarps, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then they just, I mean, I've seen the YouTube videos. I know what they do, but I mean, I thought the stream of blood would shoot over the journalist section. Come on. So they wheel out this machine that's about to pump fluids at us, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is gonna be a night. So I get covered. And then the security tells us to leave after 3 songs. That's normal protocol. And I'm back in the crowd. I find a place to take pictures, and I'm fairly far away, and I'm still getting hit. I think one of the Gwar slaves saw that I was taking pictures and tried to shoot my camera with the blood, and it was just incredible. It was just amazing, because I mean they take themselves seriously in a way that they don't take themselves seriously. I mean, Oderus, in any interview, he's been on the Fox News channel. He's been banned from the Fox News channel. He has commentary on things other than, music, and he's very intellectual even though he wears the costume. That's what makes Gwar so genius, is that he can break down. He can go on Jerry Springer with his bandmates, and there can be a mom, an angry mother on stage with him, and she can be telling him how his music is bad for her children, and he just puts her in a place. I was just watching it. On Jerry Springer, and he says you're trying to find all the negative things just to make excuses for why you didn't raise your kid well. And she says, I did a great job raising my kid. And then he says something like, well, oh yeah, I can tell because he's such a huge Gwar fan. But that's just the way, you need humor in life. I mean, as dark as everything is, and as dark as Gwar can be, they were always funny. They were never not funny. And it just sucks. And that night, I remember leaving Williamsburg. Alexis lives in Canarsie, where lives by Canarsie or in Canarsie. She might have moved by now. I'm not sure. This was years ago, like 3-4 years ago. And I was taking the train back home, so I went to hail a cab, and no cabs were picking me up. I thought it was like some sort of, I don't know what was going on, and then I realized I'm covered in this fake blood, walking down the street, acting normal. I mean, they probably thought I just chopped. I mean, really, if I chopped off somebody's head, would I walk down the street afterwards like? And hail a cab? Like, is that something that you would do? I'm a sociopath, not that much of one. I'm psychotic, but not that psychotic. I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy cool. I'm crazy high strung. Like, you can tell when I'm about to break. It's like every second of every day. Continuing on, Gwar's reach into media went well beyond the stage. From a legendary 1990s appearance on the aforementioned Jerry Springer Show to numerous appearances and eventually the banning on the Fox News Network program Red Eye, Brocky never held back. If he wanted to say something, he simply would. There was no line for him to cross. He pissed that away from his massive and often exposed cock years ago. In the event TV is not your thing, perhaps you would be shocked to know that Brocky was also a fan of the Washington Redskins, believe it or not, and wrote about football for the Metal Sucks website. I did know that because I followed this guy on Twitter, and he would have interesting analysis into life. And during football season, he would tweet about the Redskins, and it would be pretty weird. Like, think about it when you think about Gwar and, hey, football. Like, but they're normal guys. Outside of the Oderus costume, Brocky was. This is going back to the piece. Outside of the Oderus costume, Brocky was one of the funniest and intelligent individuals you could encounter. Be it Gwar or the Dave Brocky experience, you could often see the beloved frontman hanging with fans before or after the set. Never one to charge for the VIP experience like so many other artists. Brocky was always down to take a photo, shake your hand, and sign various body parts. With Gwar celebrating their 30th year of existence here in 2014, there is now an irreplaceable hole left in the hard rock and heavy metal world. Truly one of a kind. Dave Brocky is dead at age 50. Look for him to be snubbed at the Grammy Memorial Tribute Reel next February. I will second that last notion. They will definitely not mention a thing about Gwar at the Grammys. I can promise you that. But again, that's the article penned by my buddy Reverend Justino, and I'll link you up to it in the notes. The notes that I am doing every week, the day after the podcast goes live. So the podcast is going to go live. Not live, you know what I mean. It's going to be released to you and you can hear it. And then the next day, notes will follow with the links to all the stuff that I'm talking about. When I say you could find that here, I don't mean click in the air. I mean I will find it for you. So I mean Gwar. I doubt Gwar is gonna. I doubt Gwar is gonna tour again without. I doubt they're gonna replace him. I think it's over. And the tweets coming out is just insane. Eugene Merriman's hilarious. He just tweeted. If you listen to his stand-up, he's great. He just tweeted out a link to Jerry Springer, Gwar on Jerry Springer, and it's just, it's tough. This is the kind of guy who you'd think would have fun with a death hoax, but it's no hoax. And I'm not sitting here. Listen, nobody is saying that Gwar are the Beatles. Nobody is saying that you even have to like their music. But what they're about, what they represent, is something that you don't find often in music nowadays or ever days. You don't find anything like this, so in your face, but so not in your face. So serious, but not so serious. So heavy and so lighthearted. So, a week after we rest in peace, we RIP'd Mr. Ashton from the Stooges. Today, we RIP Oderus Ungurus. Oderus Ungurus. Back after.
Hey everybody, it's Andy from the Andy Dare Show here. Just want to say that I am super proud to have the J Porks Experience be part of Dare Network. And if you want to keep my little podcast network completely free, all you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com, look on the right-hand side of the page, and you'll click on the Amazon banners for all your Amazon needs, and you'll tip your cap to the J Porks Experience and all the fine broadcasting here on Dare Network. Also, be sure to follow Jay on Twitter at JPorks, Instagram at JPorks, and jporks.blogspot.com. Thank you so much for listening, and back to the J Porks Experience.
And we're back. Speaking of death, let me just say this. Earlier this week, it was reported that the Seattle Police Department was reopening the Kurt Cobain murder, suicide, and people were commenting on things on Facebook saying, Courtney, they caught you. They finally got you, Court. No, actually, just 20 years after a case, they moved the files. So, there was some film, and so basically all that was accomplished was we got to see new pictures of Kurt Cobain laying on the floor dead by his own hand. The conspiracy theories are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Alright, I'll go this far. I'll even go this far. Like, I'm one of these guys who doesn't believe in God, but I'm open to the fact that if God walked in the door and said, hey, I'm God, I'd be like, okay. I'm not saying, he's definitely, I'm just not a follower of his. If he wants to show up, that's cool. At the same time, if you think Kurt Cobain was murdered and you think Courtney Love orchestrated it, I just would like you to take a look at the picture of her mapping out where the Malaysian plane is, and actually it turned out it was not where she said it was, because they found it this morning. This is a woman who can't pass a drug test in order to keep custody of her child. This is a woman. Read her tweets. This might be the stupidest person on the face of the earth. And you can sit there with a straight face and tell me that you think that she covered up the biggest murder in the world ever at the time. This isn't Kurt Cobain isn't JFK. You know what I'm saying? He's not Martin Luther King. The government wouldn't kill him. A junkie like Courtney Love managed to kill her husband and make it appear as if he shot himself in the head with a shotgun. And there was no prints. The prints were never found. And there's no evidence of that. But people want to go crazy and think that these conspiracies, because he was leaving her, like that would have ruined her somehow. Courtney Love was already Courtney Love. She was Courtney Love before she met Kurt Cobain. It's not like being Kurt Cobain's wife. All she got out of being Kurt Cobain's wife was him writing "Live Through This," which is debatable. You know what theory I would believe? If you want to know the truth, I would believe a theory that involves Kurt calling up DGC and trying to get out of his contract, and David Geffen coming to his house and personally killing him. I would believe that theory over Courtney Love and El Duce, or whatever that guy is, El Deuce, whatever his name is. He passed a polygraph. I can pass a polygraph. So can George Costanza. When you're a professional liar, that's what you do. You pass polygraphs. Anybody can do it. It's a personality thing. It's something in your head. You can do it. It's not this impossible thing. And let me just say this, and to people who say, well, why would he say that? What does he have to gain? I don't know. Meth is a hell of a drug. The guy's a junkie. Junkies do junkie things. The guy passed out on the train tracks. Say, oh, Courtney had him killed too. Yeah, Courtney had him killed too. So Courtney had Kurt Cobain killed, and her husband and father of her child. She had Kurt Cobain killed, covered it up, and then when this guy said that he did it, or that she offered to pay him to do it, she had him killed. And he's not a government figure. He's a rock star. He was a rock star. So enough with that. And next time you guys are retweeting articles about that and saying shit like that, remember that Frances Bean is like 21 now. Oh, wait. Yeah, 21. Gonna be 21. She's on Twitter, and she can see that her father is trending, and that people think that her mom killed her father. And that is some fucked up shit. Unless you got some real deal proof, unless you got some fingerprints or some recorded phone calls. I mean, don't even get me started with that. Like, I want all the 9/11 conspiracy theorists that think America flew planes into the World Trade Center, and the Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain conspiracy theorists to go into a corner, and I don't want to talk to you guys. You guys are not my friends. Get out of here with that. They were junkies. Listen, I love Kurt Cobain, but he loved heroin. That's what he did. He did drugs. When people do drugs like that, when you do heroin, listen, I'm all about getting high, but when you do heroin, that's when you've crossed the line and you're not coming back. There's rarely a case where people come back from that. So, I say all this shit like, oh, I'm a junk box, la la la, and, smoke weed every day, all this shit. But, I mean, listen, you cross the line to heroin, you don't come back. And that isn't something I've never seen. That is something I never want to see. And if any of my friends are doing heroin, which I don't have many friends, they will get smacked. That is the truth. Like John Lydon says, there is nothing appealing about that at all. Nothing. And one of the biggest junkies in the world, Courtney Love, is too stupid to cover up a murder. That's ridiculous. I'm not buying it. That is one thing I'm not buying. Cha-ching! What was that? Cha-ching! Is that the sound of it? Cha-ching! Oh my god, speaking of buying, it's a new edition of Buying or Not Buying. Woo! Cha-ching! I don't have sound effects yet, but you get the point. It was I saw the segue there, and I had to take it. Come on. I said the word buying. I had plans to go into the list a couple of albums. I got a handful of albums that came out already this year that I'm gonna give you if I'm gonna go buy it or if I'm not gonna go buy it. Simple as that. Cha-ching! Cash register sounds. First, let's start off with the self-titled Crosses. I've heard a couple of tracks from this. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Chino is back in business, and I'm not the only one who likes it. A bunch of people I respect like it. So if you're in your local record store and you see the new Crosses, I would cha-ching buy it. I mean, when Chino doesn't make bad music, in my opinion. A few weeks ago, you heard me talk about Beck was you could stream Morning Phase, and then Morning Phase came out, Beck's new album, and I love Beck, and I have the utmost respect for Beck, and I'm not saying, and it's not bad music on the record. It just doesn't excite me in a way that it may excite other people. Like I wasn't a Sea Change guy, and I'm not a Morning Phase guy, and Morning Phase is like the other part of Sea Change, and so as much as I love Beck, I am not gonna buy Morning Phase. Not buying. Put it back on the shelf. I mean, I suggest you listen to it. You know what another thing is I'm not buying? We're going to invade buying or not buying with news that broke a couple of minutes ago. So I see a headline that says the Pixies to release their first full-length album in 23 years. Isn't that incredible? They're only 5 bass players in now. And it's only, 21 years after they were, the little glimmer of famous. And I love the Pixies as much as anybody. I love the Pixies. But it's 12 tracks. Their new album contains 12 tracks. And out of the 12 tracks, it's material that's been released on their 2 previous EPs that they released in these past couple of months. And you get 3 new songs. Their new album contains 3 songs that you haven't heard yet. If I'm a diehard Pixies fan who bought the previous EPs, paid money for the EPs, and now they're gonna give me an album with, a second disc of live hits, and you're gonna call that your first full-length debut, your first full-length album in 23 years, I would be upset about that. 3 songs, just the official release date is April 28th, but copies will be available for Record Store Day, April 19th. So when this comes out, for spite, I am not buying this. For spite. In addition to the 3 new songs, they'll be available in a standalone release dubbed EP3. So instead of getting the album, just get EP3. Okay, C3PO? And they have a new video out too, which I'll put in the notes. But I mean, that disappoints me, Frank Black. Or is he Black Francis this year? I don't know which name he's going under. So not buying when that comes out, without a doubt. And I believe I got one more here. 311, what is this? Stereolithic? I like how they take normal words and ifify them, like uplifter and stereolithic, hydroponic, chronic. I have not heard one track from the new 311. I will be honest, and I was talking to somebody, and they asked me if I've heard the new album, and I said I haven't because I assumed it would be good. Because I'm the kind of guy who I'm more in a rush to listen to an album if I think it's gonna be bad. I don't know why. I just like, I see the car crash on the side of the road, and even though it's terrible, I have to look. That's what I have to do. But 311's never released bad music. You know me, I'm always the type to lay back and chill and jive, get my groove on. I've seen 311 3 times. I saw them with fucking Snoop Dogg. Think about that for a second. Think about Jay Parks in the crowd, wearing a Ringo Starr t-shirt, dancing with 17-year-old girls to Snoop Dogg, who's opening for 311 in Homedale, New Jersey at PNC Bank Art Center. Circa 2009, I want to say. That's what I'm talking about. I learned not to wear that Ringo Starr t-shirt to hip concerts anymore if I don't want to remain single for very long. So, if I was, say I'm walking in the store and Stereolithic is sitting there on the shelf, cha-ching, J Porks is buying it. Because, what are they gonna do? They don't do bad. They're not gonna do bad stuff. Unless they teamed with Daft Punk and Skrillex and did an album of remixes, it'd be okay. And I'll put one on the fence here. I'll put one on the fence because I haven't heard it yet. But the new Kaiser Chiefs record, Education, and War. I would give that a spin and listen to it because I like a couple of other Kaiser Chiefs songs a few years ago. It brings me back when they had that Ruby. What? They had another song too. Oh, they have I Predict a Riot, where I feel like I've said this already. I Predict a Riot, where the vocal where the vocalist is saying the I Predict a Riot part, he kind of sounds like he's sounding like Joey Ramone or one of the Ramones. I predict a riot, like he's doing that voice. But just for that voice, just for that second, I'm not saying that song is similar to any sort of punk rock Ramones song. I'm just saying. If you hear a little snippet, could be. So, stereolithic. Stereolithic. I like saying that. Alright. So, I announced that I don't want to hear you tell me that Courtney Love is capable of murder. And I gave you a couple of albums that I'd buy and a couple of albums I wouldn't buy. We're going to finish things up in a few minutes when we come back after this. Hey, J Porks here, recording my own commercials. If you want to find your website in this little spot in between my podcasts, you just hit me up on Twitter at JPorks, or you email me jporks@gmail.com, and you hit up the Andy Deer Show. Hit up Andy Deer. Hit up Tyler Kale. Hit up everybody. It's the Deer Network coming to you live in 2014. You know what I've always wanted to know? Why can't I voice some lovable cartoon character? I feel that I'm funny enough to do that, and I don't even need to write the lines. I just say this stuff. People say I say stuff funny. People say I say funny things. People say I'm not funny on purpose. I'm just funny. So, if anyone's writing a cartoon sitcom thing, let me know, and I'll voice, a puppy or something. I could be the cat version of Brian Griffin. Way cooler than Tomcat. Whatever delinquent cat that was hanging out in an alley. That's whatever it is. Okay, so we covered a couple of things. Also, it's still March, which means I'm still doing the Mount Rushmore of cartoons. I only have 3, Simpsons, South Park, and Family Guy. I would like you to tweet at me or hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/jporks. Hit me up, tell me which ones you want me to include as the fourth. In the running, such cartoons like Daria and Doug, stuff like that. Rugrats, not really the Rugrats. That was a whole different ball game. Ren and Stimpy. So hit me up. Let me know. Shows like Futurama, whatever you like. Whatever you like, you let me know, and I will bring it to you because I'm all about making people happy. Because that's me. I'm a people pleaser. This is interesting. I opened up Facebook just now, and apparently I accidentally set foot in a time machine and went back to 2003, and I'm on MySpace. Because that's what this looks like. Zuckerberg, stop fucking with me. If you would have invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook. And you did invent Facebook. Stop ruining it. It's fine. Before I get up out of here, let's check out Saturday Night Live named its next 3 musical guests. This is gonna be funny. Let's see. This is courtesy of Crave Online. We got Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran will be April 12th. Pharrell is gonna stop by on April 5th. And Sam Smith will be on March 29th. I don't think I've watched Saturday Night Live in 10 years. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live since God knows when. Since that cowbell sketch, which was funny. That shit was funny, but it was like that was one of the last great moments. And now you got Saturday Night Live is hosting NBC Late Night, running it into the toilet. It's funny. It's funny that Jimmy Fallon hosts the Tonight Show, which I'm not. I don't watch it, so I can't say that it's bad. But again, David Letterman didn't get the Tonight Show. All right, so I got a couple of websites. I'm gonna before I get out of here and start saving up my money and planning my couple of day excursion in Denver on March 31st. I'm gonna read you the websites I want you to go to help keep me in business once again. As usual, concertconfessions.com for all your live music news and reviews for fans by fans. I need you to click the Amazon ads there and buy stuff. Stuff ships fast on Amazon. Also, you're probably already there, but if you're not, get yourself acquainted with the AndyDeerShow.com. Don't forget the. You can like them on Facebook, Andy Deer Show, like the Deer Network on Facebook, tweet at us, all that stuff, dude. We're all over this social media thing. This thing you call social media, we got this. Got to lock like a warden. Social media without us is like the NBA without Jordan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Also, ChristinaRocks.com, and you can listen to the Time Warp on 89xradio.com every Sunday morning, 8 to 12, and you can check out it. And if you don't want to wake up that early, or if you're not sure, like if you want to listen to it, go to ChristinaRocks.com and look up the playlist and see if that's a batch of songs that you would like to hear from week to week. Me living in New York City, we don't have rock radio right now. Like radio, the songs she plays are too alternative for the classic rock station to play it, and they're too old school for the Jersey's #1 rock station to play. I mean, that station plays like bringing you Nickelback, Creed, Fuel. I actually like that song Shimmer, but besides that, I mean, come on. Win tickets to see. No, I can't even think what. Buck Cherry, one of these fucking schlock rock bands. I actually like a few Buck Cherry songs too. Up next, 7 Mary 3. Jeez. Relax, guy. I always want to be radio announce guy and tell him, dude, chill out. It's not that serious. Really not. If people like the music, they're gonna want to buy it. They're gonna want to win. They're gonna want to buy the tickets, let alone win the tickets. So you don't have to be so, distinct in your announcement. Shit. Also, your source for quality is antiquiet.com. Everything going on there. Black Keys releasing a new album called Turns Blue. You can read about Mark DeMarco Salad Days is streaming over at NPR. Wakey Wakey performs their ode to Phoebe Cates for Diffuser and Festival Fever. Oh, Phoebe. There's got to be something else going on. And you can check out their South by Southwest recap. It's a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff you probably didn't know was going on is happening. Okay? All of that and more. It is the J-Parks Experience. Until next week, folks, I bid you a whiskey, a weed, and a Warren Zevon. Late.
This has been the J-Parks Experience. Thank you so much for listening.